Hello. Hi, everyone. This is Mecca,
And this is Nataraja,
and we are
Ascended
Ascended Heart
Heart Navigators.
Navigators. So we're just setting up live. I know that we just have a brand new launch of this Ascended Heart Navigators podcast
hmm
page on Facebook.
We had to do it again.
Dee-dee.
Do-do-do.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for everyone tuning in and having some cool conversations and making yourselves available to learn new tools to navigate the challenges in your lives.
Right. And we are also found on Instagram and YouTube. And a lot of our past content, I think that before the whole thing that happened with our page, uh, um, we have a lot of content on our page. But good thing you gotta save it somewhere else.
Totally.
We saved it and it's on YouTube
So,
also.
on our website, ascendedheartnavigators.com,
Yes. hmm
there's the videos and there's also blogs telling like some of the stories and pieces of why we've come together to create this podcast, and also a little bit about the Heart Healing album project that I'm working on that Nataraja has encouraged me to work on. And, that's all fueling the stories and the conversations and these elevated conversations that we're having with different healers and different artists at the Ascended Heart Navigators podcast. So thank you for, all of that.
Right. And these are elevated conversations,
Yeah.
and Mec and I are devoted and committed to um, bring navigational tools. That's why we decided to be called the Heart Navigators, the Ascended Heart Navigators, to be able to provide tools.
Yeah.
And the tools, and you can pull these tools out of the toolbox and help you navigate challenging waters.
Totally. Because life can get a little bumpy
It can, and it can
and
get messy.
totally messy. And in the chaos, you can really find your center and you can find the blessing and everything. And you can, as we're going to talk about today, change your victim stories into your own hero stories, into your own empowerment and
Right.
success stories.
Mm.
So we're going to talk about a little bit of how to do that and what that looks like and feels like, so that you can take these tools in and use them, especially when you're in panic mode and you just need to reach for something
hmm
that works.
Right.
So I hope we can offer some of those today. So first of all, we're going to talk about, okay, when bad things happen in our lives.
hmm
Shit go down, yo. Things
And
get
it goes down at a
messy.
very young age,
Oh
and
yeah.
it becomes a thing.
And it becomes our belief systems when
Mm-hmm.
something happens, especially in early age.
Right.
That's like what we believe the constructs of the world to be, and then we operate under that limiting to belief for the rest of our lives
Mm.
until we consciously become aware of it and can make a change.
Right. We're stepping into a place where we're able, it's like bing 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 bing, we can actually choose to change, and we are wanting to talk about how we can change the story and the narrative around our past pains and trauma. And this is a conversation that's challenging to have. So we want you to have an open mind and dive into the waters,
Diving deep.
diving deep. Swimming like a little fishy. Open the mind,
Yeah.
and let's have a conversation about how we could actually change our stories about what had happened to us in the past,
Yeah.
what's happening to us right now, um, and we can become an elevated, higher version of ourselves. It is possible.
And you can choose that in literally every moment,
Right.
because it's always now.
Right.
So you never have to feel like it's that you're out of time or it's not the right moment. It's always the right time for you to choose a happiness or your elevated existence, and to kind of set yourself free from your victim stories is what the word we're using. Why are we using the word victim stories, Nataraja?
Because we all have some good ones.
Yeah, we do.
And I want to first say that I'm gonna move this around. Whoop, beep, beep. I want to first say that we all have past trauma.
Right.
We all have some stuff that's happened to us that's freaking intense.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about having this conversation is, like, when we are talking to people and they're telling their victim story, or they're telling about their past, it's like we're not really feeling it or hearing it. We want to one up it. We're just like, oh
Oh,
yeah, you suffered. Well, let me tell you, oh, you went through this, but let me tell you how hard I had it.
right.
Um, and and that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about is this one upping each other's victim stories. And when I've had these conversations with people before, I'm still connected to the Healy, yo. Woo!
The
Get
Healy's
some.
awesome. If you want to find out about it, the Healy quantum frequency treatments. Yeah. Michelle Orwick has really brought it into our lives and
Mhm.
taught us so much. And like, it's impressive.
Talk to Mecca about some Healy treatments because she
Yeah.
hook you up. I mean, like literally.
It's true.
But this is an interesting conversation to have, is because when I talk to people about changing their perspectives and their stories, it immediately goes to this place of, well, you don't know what I've been through. And I almost feel like I have to be
Mm,
challenged to that and say, well, actually, here's my story. And I catch myself. I'm like, why am I telling my story to
right.
validate how you should change the
Yeah.
perspective of your story? So we're gonna,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're gonna talk about how to change our perspectives, of our stories. One is being present with other people's stories and other people's past without feeling like we have to one up it or
Yeah.
um somehow have a better one. Oh, thank you. I never knew how to do that. Oh my God.
Technology.
Oh my God. Um, and that's an interesting thing. And Mecca and I had this really really great conversation about being present with other people's stories. And
Mm,
as we're talking about like everything, and we often don't give space to be completely and totally like present with hearing other people's stories. That's one of the tools
yeah.
in the toolbox, is being present without feeling like you have to one up your better victim story or tell them how much more you've suffered, to make somehow your story of
Valid.
victimhood more valid, that you have like, well, it's like, well,
You were able
mine
to
is actually
change.
more intense, so I should hold on to mine. um
Well, here's an exercise that we actually heard about today from Heather Noel, who is an incredible inspiration. She has the givinggamefoundation.com, and there is a
mhm,
60 days of transformation program for free available, and we're following it, and we're actually Nataraja is leading a whole group of us through it,
mhm.
which if you give yourself 60 days, you can change your life for sure.
It's true.
And she's actually been mentored by Heather Noel, so she's quite versed in a lot of these conversations, practices, theories, and really amazing tools. So, something Heather Noel brought up today was telling your best victim story and then telling it in a different way,
Right.
which is the way of the hero or the empowered version, the success story behind it, like how it made your life better. And even going through to our most painful memories, because we've all got them,
Right.
but then taking the power back from them by telling them in a new way. And you don't have to believe it at first. You can even go, well, how am I going to tell this story to be convincing that it's a hero story, that it's an empowerment story. And then you'll
Mhm.
actually believe you're probably telling the truth, and then you can really embrace it yourself. So, using the art of storytelling, even to yourself, um, to create a new narrative in your
Mhm.
life.
And it could be any of your stories, and during my mentorship, Heather Noel had me do this, and it was interesting. As I was like looking at my current life with my daughter, and being on this journey and so on and so forth, and I had like spinning in my mind of like, I need to solve this and blah 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 blah. And so she stopped me and she's like, wait. I love how she said, wait. Um, she was like, all right, so I want to hear a different version of your perspective of your life right now. And so she was like, tell me how this is amazing, what you're going through right now. I was like, oh no, I know, it was like, and then I started to and then I started to explain um like all the things that I'm actually going through. So no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I want you to tell me how amazing your life is right now and retell the story. And I was like, I don't think I could. She was like, just make it up.
Make it up.
Make it up. And I started retelling the story to her verbally. It's actually good
to verbalize it.
To verbalize it, because as you start retelling a new story, you start, it literally happens. You start to hear a new truth. And it's the
Yes.
truth that's behind the story. The story is a lie. The story is our perception of what happened in the past. And the version that we're telling ourselves is the understanding, coming from a place of understanding of where we are now.
Wow.
I know that's like, it's mind blowing. So as you're telling your story or retelling your story, or you're retelling about, like what's happening in your world, your job, your family, your home life, whatever it is, stop a moment and retell yourself how this is actually amazing right now. And watch how you start having another perspective of what you're going through. Yes.
That's awesome.
Right.
Suzanne, thank you for being here. You've been such a huge support. We love you so much.
Yes. You have been an amazing support.
Now, see, so yeah, I want to also reinforce the simpleness of when you don't know what else to do, to be in gratitude. And that it helps to tell an amazing story about your life, even if you don't believe it at first. Just practice.
Mm-hmm.
And then just make lists and lists. I actually have my bullet journal here from my dear friends, Hans and Suzanne. And I do make lists and lists and lists of things I'm grateful for. And I do actively do that, especially when I'm in a panic attack or I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
overwhelmed, which has lessened more and more and more. The more I stay in this higher frequency life, which includes gratitude and changing my story.
Mm-hmm.
But
being in gratitude,
it's
right.
a simple fix.
Mm-hmm.
I've even heard Abraham Hicks say that 17 seconds of gratitude, which is confirmed by the neuroscientists, can change your brain chemistry from a negative to a positive. So putting your brain into a positive chemical space to literally, you're changing the chemistry of your brain by thinking grateful thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? You're freaking out? Think of 17 things you're grateful for. It'll be way longer than 17 seconds, but you'll stay with the process until you make the chemical change in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then things get better.
Right.
And it's proven. It's proven in neuroscience. Like they actually have Dr. Joe Dispenza is a really good example of a neuroscientist who uses active tools of brain scans and heart scans to see what gratitude, something as simple as gratitude, does to your brain and heart.
Mm-hmm.
He goes beyond that to see what changes you can make and actually spontaneous healing experiences and how to recreate those.
Look him up, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Yeah, he's amazing, wealth of knowledge. Specifically looking at it from a scientific and neuroscience perspective. So let's recap. So we have change your story, one navigational tool. Change your story to a story of empowerment. Make that shit up and then retell yourself a story. Stop comparing your stories to other people and actually be in the presence of what other people are sharing with you, rather than, as soon as we take, it's almost like a flashlight, as soon as we take this awareness off of ourselves and then we put our awareness in compassion and love to other people, something happens within our own brain and energy that we stop focusing on the shit. We stop focusing on our own shit. And it's like you stop smelling it. Just stop smelling your own shit all the time, and put your awareness and your focus on other people and love and compassion, and then you start to see that your stuff doesn't seem so intense.
It's also a really cool way I've heard it put. My love language is acts of service. So giving and receiving acts of service is
Mm-hmm.
my number one love language.
Mm-hmm.
And that means that I can get out of my head when I just do an act of service. So if I'm feeling depressed or stuck, I think one of the number one medicines for me is to go and, offer my service or help or love or compassion, even if it's just words of encouragement to a friend. It does shift the energy out of this, frontal lobe of
Mm-hmm.
anxiety and into it kind of releases it, and you move into act of service, which
Mm-hmm.
is a high frequency act as well, which can help change your day,
Right.
change your brain, change your day, change your life.
And then the
Yeah.
last thing I think that we were talking about sharing is um, when we go through life and we have these things happen to us, and usually they're happening in patterns, right?
Mhm.
You have like some kind of abuse and some kind of abuse, or some like taking advantage of or manipulation or whatever, and you find these things happening
On repeat.
on repeat. They're on like repeat cycle. And one of the things is realizing that there's two parts of this, is realizing that the more we are focused on being victimized or having certain things happen to us, and that becomes like our story, then we start getting more of the same thing.
Because it's like a
And
frequency radio thing calling it in.
yeah, it's like it's almost like a like an echo, like an echo chamber. It's
Yeah,
like
just
like you say
repeat, repeat.
it's like you
You
keep
say
getting
it and get it back.
bounce back, and you say it, and then you get
So
bounce
tell a new
back.
story.
So tell yourself a new story, and it's really true. Is one is that the aspect of it comes in repeat,
Mhm.
um, and telling yourself a new story is one thing, and changing your vibration to where you're actually receiving a new thing, and then the other thing that I years ago I went through this like awakening moment, and I realized that I had my victim story of the one who suffers, and I had
Mm.
carried this victim story around, and told all of my best and worst things of how I've suffered at the hands of other people,
Mhm.
and how I've been taken advantage of. And then I had this like really interesting, almost like this like visual download of I love her facial expressions. It's
Sorry.
great. I had this like visual download that I had been carrying this crown. It's almost as like I had this identity, um, this sad sufferer of many things. And I had
Ooh.
this crown. It was almost like and it had become like a crown of honor in this weird, twisted way.
Woo.
Um, that I was very proud, and that I had this like thing to show how much I have suffered. And the moment that I realized that I was identifying with the sufferer, and the role of a sufferer, um, and I recognized this as a crown that I was carrying around myself, um, on myself, I literally took the crown off, and removed my crown, and said to myself that I am no longer going to identify as a person who suffers. And something happened in that moment when I made that conscious choice that I'm no longer identifying with this person who had suffered, quote unquote, suffered so much.
Right.
Um, that I I actually started shifting something. And when we do that, and this is a different topic for a different day, there's something that happens when we are almost like releasing. So say for example, your addiction to who you are, and your
Mm.
addiction to your identity is held on so tight, and sometimes those roles we hold on so tight, they come from our family, and the moment that we release them, it's almost as like that lineage breaks, and the line of suffering is healed from all those who have our family, who have like been carrying this like this baton, And so as we like come in life, sometimes we have a baton. If you think about it like a baton race, and then we come in life, and they're
Here's
like,
my anger from my family.
and
Let's
we
pass it on.
pass it on, and you grab the baton, and then you start running through your life, and you realize, holy crap, why am I having this baton?
Right.
This is not mine.
So in shamanism, it's always said that you heal 7 generations forward and 7 generations
Right.
back when you heal something in
Mhm.
yourself, because you're putting down the baton and you're literally changing that story and dynamic
Mhm.
for all of those generations. Shout out to Etern. She's an incredible artist, hip hop artist, singer, etc. And I love witnessing her incredible success story and her spiritual journey. So awesome. Really glad to be here with you, sister, as well.
I watch him on Gaia. I think you're talking about Joe Dispenza,
Oh, yeah,
right?
she is.
Right.
Yeah. She knows what's up.
She does.
She is informed. She's in the know. So yeah, today we're talking about mostly of what to do when things aren't going well.
Mhm.
Which
Right.
is a legit and daily thing that we
Right.
have to kind of confront and
Right.
face. It's not just about happy-go-lucky, stay happy all the time. I mean, it is in a little bit like giving yourself an opportunity to choose happiness on a regular basis
Mhm.
is pretty huge.
Right.
Like keeping that in your options.
It's huge work, and
It's huge work.
it's definitely work not for the faint of heart.
Truly.
For sure. So let's do a recap, shall we? You
Okay.
Okay.
So
one was retell your story into a story of empowerment.
So you're changing your victim stories
Mhm.
into your success stories.
Right.
And even if you don't believe them the first time you vocalize it, just do it. If you need someone to go over that, we can do those in sessions
Mhm.
that we provide. Do it with whoever your spiritual healer is or who your best friends
Become
are.
a really good actress or actor.
Yeah. So change your stories,
Mhm.
change your victim stories. It will change your identity. Like Nataraja was talking about, like you can literally feel your identity shifting. But if you no longer want to be the identity of, the one who suffers, and you want to be the identity of the one who succeeds, change your story.
Right.
And number 2 is gratitude.
Yeah, gratitude, like being in the frequency of gratitude, how that will change our perspective of our story. One is listening with compassion and love
Huge.
to other people without feeling like you need to one up their story or somehow add how much more you've suffered, and really be listening and taking the awareness off of your own suffering and listen to other people,
Which is an act of love and service.
Which it really is.
Yeah.
It really is an act of love and service. And then really look at your addiction and identity to your story, and whatever that story is like look at your patterns and look at how they've been repeating and how much you actually identify as being that person that was mistreated in this way. And when you think about yourself as that person, it's almost like you're now walking through the world as that person, and look at what you're identifying as this relates to your victim stories.
And are you willing
right
to change your identity by changing your story? Are you willing to wear a different crown?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Are you willing to put on a different robe and the one that you choose, and not just the one that was put on you,
right,
and that you're kind of grown accustomed to, but it wasn't really your choice? Are you willing to choose the role that you want to play in this lifetime? Are you willing to choose your highest frequency and say yes to your greatest destiny and your greatest timeline? I mean, that really makes it a lot, right, Joanna? Yeah, totally.
and it might seem hard at first,
Totally.
because you almost feel like who you are is slipping away. And throughout time, when I put my crown down, there was times when I went to go pick up my crown. I was like, wait, I don't know, this is not who I am. And I had to stop myself from picking up my crown until I became in a new habit of identifying with a different person. I'm no longer a person who suffers. I'm a person who and reclaim. This is the time to reclaim the person that the higher version of yourself This is it. We're in the moment. Like
This is the
global,
shift.
yeah, this is the shift. This is the moment to say, I now claim this. Boom.
Yeah. And really, that ownership of that choice is huge, because it
Yes.
will literally take you out of the slavery of, either ancestry or, DNA or society or past lives or present life or everything that feels like a weight on your existence and that wasn't of your choice. You can now just set aside, and you're opening up all this space and opportunity for you to choose who you want
Right?
to be.
Yes. Yes.
It's like clearing that out.
The field of possibilities, of potentials, you now have, it's almost like when you do that, the field of potentials opens and you get to freaking create anything that you
You
want
can create anything you want. You can create
Mhm.
this lifetime in any way you want to create it.
Mhm.
You can change whatever pattern you're on in this instant by making a new choice and being
Right.
willing to feel a new feeling.
Feeling a
and
new feeling.
feel yourself as a
Right.
new identity, and like start living and believing that you are your highest destiny, that you are your greatest good, that you are the
Woo!
elevated version of yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
No.
live it. Like, you are the creator.
Mhm.
We each are the creator. We're, as a collective cosmic consciousness, I think, letting go of a victim story and
Right.
embracing the story of us as creator. And I think that will change everything. And it won't just change things, even though the little things are huge.
Mhm.
It will literally change our interaction with the entire universe, not
Mhm.
just our little micro stories.
Mhm.
We are actually more significant than we were led to believe. We are huge and enormous and infinite and eternal and creative in so many ways. So, what do you want your story as a human to be? Like,
Yes.
tell that story,
Mhm.
and it's not the one that's from the old paradigm and that old reality, that old 3D construct. This is totally fresh. You're setting yourself free
Mhm.
from, centuries and millennia of trauma, and you're moving into your best life and your best self. Yeah, life's too short. Life is just a moment. We are infinite souls, but like, because energy is never created nor destroyed. But like, what do you want to see? Do you want to see something more? Do you want to have really elevated conversations and experiences for the rest of your life?
Mhm.
Then choose it and give yourself permission to let go of the things that have been holding you back or keeping you in a really limited perspective, and literally open up the whole universe for
Mhm.
yourself of possibility, potential,
Right.
and creative power.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. We got so much more, baby.
So much more. So follow us, Ascended Heart Navigators, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Our Facebook page is brand new again, so thank you for being here. But we'll also have everything documented on AscendedHeartNavigators.com, and we're branching out into the podcast world on Spotify now.
Yeah, we're on Spotify
platforms.
and iTunes, so we're there.
Woo!
Making it happen.
Existing.
And I'll be sending some links to make sure that you are able to hear our podcast.
We're gonna have as much as possible this next week, in particular, as we move towards the solstice. I do have a song coming out called
Yes.
"We Should Watch the Stars" on December 21st, when we should be watching the stars. So I'll be releasing all the few little gathered people like Servo and Karen Stevenson from Dusty Bibles Productions, and the lovely Lady Cimarine from Phantasmagoria, who participated to make that happen. We filmed a little bit at El Camino. Thank you, John Thiessen, for your green screen life. And it was just a moment that we were filming in all the empty venues, but it was really about shifting our focus to what is our hope, what is the elevated perspective of what's going on with all of us. So we'll be sharing that with you on Monday, December 21st, as a solstice present as well. So yeah, we love you. Shining your light, right, Suzanne? Shining your light. Yes, Joanna and Etern and all the beautiful friends watching this.
Thank you for joining us.
You're watching it. You're supposed to be hearing this, and we love you.
Thank you.
Happy travels.
And good night. End.